What up, man? It's your boy Joe, here to talk about my Chicago Bulls. Let's go, Chicago, turn me up! If you were to tell me last year, after the horrendous season that we had, that we were going to make the playoffs, hover around the first, second seed for the first half of the season, was top 10, top 5 in defense, and overall just having a very fun season. I mean, if you would have told me that last year, I don't care about anything else. I don't care about the first round knockout. I don't care about the second half where we struggled, because in my eyes, we already did a lot more, way more than we did in previous years, especially, now we gave Billy a full roster, something to actually work with DeMar, Lonzo, with Zach, Vuz, P. Will before, he got injured. We were able to see just a glimpse of what this team is actually capable of. But unfortunately, man, y'all seen it, man. We went through so many injuries, man. It took us oh my gosh. I know health is a key thing for every team. A very successful team, not only do you need to be good on offense and defense, but you also need to be healthy. That is the key thing for every team. I get it. But for a struggling a team that was struggling a couple years ago, that's finally getting a taste of some, some potential, some hype, just to have it be derailed so much by these injuries, it does sting a little bit more. And I truthfully believe that the biggest injury, and this is not to compare injuries to anybody or whatever, but I do think the person who was injured that affected the team the most was Lonzo, man. I listen, I'll get into it a little bit later, but Lonzo, I feel, is really the glue to the Chicago Bulls. Really the meat, he's it. If we don't have him, then chop up everything else. He is the guy that we need to be successful on this team, because he literally does everything that we need, that we desperately need. We need a good playmaker. Obviously, a good defender, which he can do. Him and Alex Caruso were the dynamic duo. You know what I mean? We need, who else? A good defender, a good passer, and he can shoot from three. He's a good stretch. He can hit the corner, the wing, the top of the key. He's a sniper. You got that yapper on him, Y'all was seeing it. So if I were to highlight one word for this season, it would be consistency. And that could be a good thing or a bad thing, because you figure at the beginning of the season, when we were really starting off strong, it was very consistent when we were turning defense into offense. We were first in efficiency when it came to that. Whether it be, again, just the speed, the pace. We just played with a lot of consistency. The roster was the same, but until we started getting hit with these big injuries and we started having these big lineup changes, that's when I think where a lot of struggles happened, and that consistency, really, we started to lose a lot of that. And not only does consistency work for just the team as a whole, but consistency, we need that from a lot of our players as well, particularly Coby White. Now, before I fully get into, talking about the players and what I think that some of the things that they need to improve on, or how we look at the players that we need to cut them some slack a little bit, or whatever the case may be, I do again want to say that I feel overall the Chicago Bull year was a great success. We made the playoffs like we said we wanted to do. It was a lot of fun. Granted, it was a lot of up and down, a lot of struggle, but all in all, I had a lot of fun watching the year. Had a lot of fun watching DeMar, especially coming from the Spurs, and I didn't see half of that coming. The success that he had, this MVP caliber year that he had, did not see that coming at all. And, again, I'm just so grateful that we were able to experience it. And, I'm looking forward to the future in the coming years to see if we can maybe ruffle up some feathers and contend and maybe get a championship in a couple of years. I don't know. We'll see. But, But again, just because we had a great year does not mean that we cannot criticize it. We can't speak on it. We can't talk about some of the bad and negatives that happened. And again, it's not me trying to be a, that kind of Bulls fan or whatever, but there are some things that need to be talked about that were a little concerning, and there were some things that I was reading from other Bulls fans that I feel, whoa, we need to, just take a little relaxer on. And again, the first player that I want to talk about is Coby White, right? So I have a couple notes on him that I want to talk about, and the big thing, like I said earlier, was consistency. The big thing for Coby White was, he was very consistent. Obviously, one game he may give us, I don't know, just off the top, maybe like a 15 and 8-ish on some great shooting, or a 20 point game on some great shooting. Next game he may give us like 5 or 6, like 5 turnovers on like 3 on like 10 shooting. So just like randomly off the top of my head, it's just very inconsistent. But I know a lot of Bulls fans are saying trade him and all that, and we can get into that a little, I'll talk about that a little bit as well, especially with the addition of Dalen Terry, who we just selected in the 18th pick. If you haven't did your research on him, you need to, because this guy, like, I'm a huge fan of this pick. Huge fan. I think this is the perfect glue piece. I think he's going to be plugged in right away, and he's going to fit in, like, beautifully. But I'll talk about him a little bit later in the video as well. But just to stick on Coby, again, I think the big thing for him is going to be consistency, being consistent. And I'm not one of those Bull fans that say, oh, just trade him, get rid of him, because there is potential still there. And we have to also take into account of what he's been through in his short NBA career, right? He's been in the league for 3 years now. And let's go back in the first year that we drafted him. He was, we saw the flash, you saw the glimpses, you saw potential. I don't know if you guys remember, towards the end of the season before COVID cut the year short, he was dropping those 30-point games. Him and Zach, they had broke that record for most threes by like a pair or something, like by a duo. There was a lot of excitement with him. But again, COVID cut that year short and cut his development short as well in these years. So now, instead of him having a full year and then going into next year with something to work with, now he got a year cut short, and now he's going into the next year with more complications, more confusion, again with COVID and whatnot. But mind you, before that even happened, who was our coach? Who was coaching the Chicago Bulls before Billy Donovan? Jim Boylen. What were we doing with him? What success? What development? What do you want from the team with him as a coach? And this is no knock at him as a person. Again, this is just him coaching the team. He was terrible. It was a very bad coach for us. Very bad. Y'all saw what he did to Lauri Markkanen's confidence. Man, he butchered that thing. So he had Coby just scuffled. What role he was getting. Every game, his role was different. Whether he was coming off the bench, he was the main ball handler, he was shooting on the wings, he was catch and shoot or trying to shoot off the bounce or something. We never really had a clear-cut role for Coby. And, again, remember, when he first was drafted, he was more so like a mid-range shooter. Again, can size you up a little bit, tween, off the dribble bounce, hit a couple middies. And Jim Boylen, he cut that short. He was telling Coby that was a bad shot. He did not want Coby shooting any mid-range shots. He wanted him just to be on the three. Granted, he can shoot the three. He can. He's not the worst. Can be a little bit better. Can be a little bit more consistent. But I think he's a little bit better, more consistent when it's more catch and shoot than trying to create his shot. Right. So again, multiple role changes. Like I said, he also was a starting guard at some times. We had him next to Zach, facilitating, and sometimes he would do really well, sometimes he would do poorly. But that's just, again, that comes with being a young guard and also having a coach that didn't really have control of the team and didn't really have that respect. So with all those things put together, that's going to come with a lot of inconsistencies, but we have to account for that when we're criticizing Kobe. Kobe is still very young. Kobe still does have a lot of potential, and he still can get better. We cannot look at these past couple of years and be like, okay, this is the type of player that Kobe White is going to be in his career and his future. No, like, every player can get better. Every player can improve, can work on certain things, can get more comfortable. They just need, again, that word that I keep highlighting. They need consistency. Every player, every team needs consistency. And, you know, the year after now getting Billy Donovan, I think was a good year for him. But again, there was a lot of inconsistencies as well with that year because there was a lot of injuries. So, you know, with Lonzo and Caruso getting injured, now he's sliding into, maybe he'll start some games. If Lonzo's healthy, he's on the bench, or you know, the emergence of Ayo Dosunmu, you know, that kind of put him at this weird, like, you know, because Dosunmu was a better defender as well. Like, he's, you know, is a better playmaker as well. It kind of put Kobe in this, like, I don't know, this limbo kind of state. This, like, okay, where is my fit? How can I fit? Where's my role in this team? So I think with Kobe is, I think when we give him more a consistent role, just one role, like, okay, you're going to come in the game and this is it, consistently for more than at least 20 plus games, I think we'll start to see a more consistent, a more established side of Kobe White. We just got to make sure we give him that consistent role. You know, again, so this is just for Bulls fans as well. We need to have patience when it comes to him. Just don't be so quick. I'm not on it. I'm not on that wagon of get rid of Kobe White. No, I'm not on it. We need to have patience. He will be better. I promise. Mark it, bookmark, whatever you need to do. Clip this, whatever. Kobe White will have a better year than he did last year for sure. Don't trade him unless we are getting a reasonable return. Very reasonable. Don't just trade him for a bag of chips, Lays, none of that. Nah. Trade him for, again, because I know we need a lot of help in that forward position. You know, we still need, we just signed Andre Drummond, but he's not really that much of a rim protector. You know, so something in that, along those lines, some height, some depth, some strength in our front court. Unless we can get something big in that, don't trade him. Like, it's pointless. So, again, COVID was also played a big factor into kind of stunting his development and kind of making it seem like he kind of looks a little bit stagnant in terms of, like, okay, he hasn't really improved his jump shot. He's still kind of inconsistent. He's not that great of a playmaker. That's not really who he is, really what we drafted him for in the first place. You know, there were a lot of things that tied into the Kobe White that we're seeing now, but that does not mean that is the Kobe White we are going to be seeing in the future. Player that I want to talk about is Patrick Williams, the X Factor. You already know, the Paul. You know, this kid's extremely young. He's got a lot of time to develop, a lot of years in him. He's got all, like, great intangibles. He's got a great build. He's got length. You know, he can be a great two-way player. The big knock on him is he's very timid, very very shy kind of. Even when he plays basketball, it just seems like it's a very shy way of playing, you know. The big thing about, a Bulls fan that we want him to have that dog in him, like that dog, you know what I mean? Come in the court, come just jam on him, you know what I mean? That's what we kind of were looking for Patrick to be. And, sometimes if that's kind of like not your forte in the basketball side, especially in the NBA, like, it's kind of hard to just develop that role and just be jumped into it, just like automatically just be that rah where you're not really, that wasn't really your forte, your bread and butter, especially like, in college. And he's extremely young. He was 19 for his first year with us, and then, that got kind of cut with him not having the summer league and just throwing him in there you know, just raw against all the top players. You know, he was guarding Book, he was guarding Giannis, he was guarding LeBron, Kawhi. He was guarding all these players very young, without any again, no camp, no summer league, no nothing. So like, and he was doing pretty well. He's gotten a lot of compliments from a lot of players. You know, again, he's got it. He's got all the bill. He's got all the intangibles, everything to be a star, to be a really great player. Is all about him finding that in himself and really getting that fire burnt inside of him and just exploding onto the scene. You know, I've heard a lot of reports that a lot of the Bulls execs are looking for him to take that next step. Everything's looking good. You know, he's being more ferocious. He's talking a little bit more. So everything is looking good. So I'm not going to stick too much on him because he is a massive question mark for us right now. And I know a lot of Bulls fans are very high on him as of right now. I'm telling you right now, if he doesn't produce this next year, start whipping out all those mock trades and all that, all the packages. You'll start seeing them. Exactly what we're doing to Kobe White, we'll be doing to Patrick Williams if he does not produce this year. Which is also kind of weird because he also never really had a true full year in the NBA. And again, this is where kind of Bulls fans, where I say we need to have a lot of patience when it comes to this roster, is because there just has not really been a lot of consistency. Like, we've yet to have a full year of consistency with any of our true players. Like, when we drafted Patrick Williams, we drafted him in the heart where COVID was really spiking. Again, there was no summer league, there was no camps, there was no nothing, no whatever he was doing. There was no really practice with the team. He was just throwing him in and here, do something just to see what you got. And he showed us a lot of flashes, a lot of glimpses that he can be. Again, that's why we call him the X factor for a reason for this team, because if he really can take that next level, the Bulls, man, look out, man. I'm saying look out now. Without him, I'm just saying look out. If he takes that next step, look out for the Bulls next year for sure, because he fixes a lot of problems that we need, especially in that front court area, because, you know, he can jump high. Again, he's got long arms. He's athletic. And he's got good rim protecting kind of skill set, you know. But again, the big thing about him, and this will complete him as a player once he gets that dog mentality, once he gets that raw in him, I think this kid will be fantastic. You know, he's got a great shot. Very high arcing shot, very high. That thing go out the camera, come down. I'll make a sandwich, come back, and the shot's still falling down. But it's money. It's money. So all he needs to do is stay true, keep working, keep improving, and he will find a role. Even though the team is kind of, you know, there's not really a lot of opportunity for him to score, you know. So we'll definitely be looking for him to be more, give us more of that defensive flash, that defensive upside, because we have DeMar, because we have Zach, you know, already giving us 20 plus a game. Then Vooch is going to want his touches, you know. There's not really a lot of space for him to grow offensively, but I do hope that Billy makes some plays and makes some opportunities for him to grow, because he does have a great offensive package. It's there. It just needs to be pushed out more, you know, because he does not seem like the type of guy that's going to take it. He doesn't seem like the type of guy that's going to be like, yo, Lonzo, give me the ball. Zach, give me the ball. I'm letting this thing fly. I'm letting it ring. That's not his personality. But with the addition of the pick that we just got in Dalen Terry, he's got that raw. And from all the stories I'm hearing, he's got that raw in him. He's going to push you. He's going to uplift the team. He's going to be the one that talking, that talker, that trash talker in the team. You need that on every team. You need somebody that's going to call you out when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Like, Zach, you only got 5 shots in this halftime. You need to shoot more. DeMar, you're shooting this for this, and you're shooting over here. I need you to come over here, size them up, go to the midi where your bread and butter is. You need somebody on that team who's really going to hold the players accountable. Granted, he is young, but that doesn't mean anything if that's your personality. If your personality is you're a talker, you're again, you're very competitive and you got that raw in you, you're going to demand, you're going to get that respect just automatically, just from that just being your personality. And I feel with the addition of Dalen Terry with Patrick Williams, he's going to ascend. He's going to give another level of Patrick that we haven't seen before. And I think it's all going to mesh very, very well. Just be patient with Patrick. I think this is going to be a great year for him. This is going to be, I don't think, again, I wouldn't say he's going to average around 20 points or nothing like that, but I think a cool 14, 15-ish points from him will be great. You know, a couple blocks here and there, you know, some steals, maybe around 8-ish plus rebounds around there. You know, he can pass as well. He's got some guard skills, so... But I am looking for him to have a breakout year. This is the year for it. A full year. Granted, hopefully no injuries alters that or anything. This should be the year for Patrick Williams. All right. Now, I'm going to talk about Billy Donovan. And my takes, again, these are just my takes. All what I'm saying right now in this video are just takes. This is my opinion. This ain't facts. This isn't like, you know what I mean? It could be wrong, could be right, whatever, how you feel. These are just opinions and, you know, just me talking and whatever. And I know that this take is not going to be favored by a lot of Bulls fans, but if I were to be completely honest with you, I am not heavy on Billy Donovan. I am not that big on him. Just to be honest, and just this short year that we've had, this 1 year that we had with him, it kind of... I know this is so weird. You never really want to like take 1 year and just be like, okay, this is him. This is going to be him for like however long he's going to be with us. But the certain things that I was seeing this year were just such like major red flags for me that like I can see this being an issue for other years to come with him. And a big thing with him is he does not seem like the kind of coach that's going to uplift the team, if you get what I'm saying. He's not somebody that, like, if we're down 20 at halftime, it doesn't seem like he's the type of coach that's going to give me that speech that's going to get me, like, rah, like, ready to get me running through a door type, you know? Like, he doesn't seem like that kind of high energy, kind of, like, guy that's going to spark a flame in our players, you know? He's again, it seems like, and this is just, I could be completely wrong. This is just from what I'm seeing, like, as a fan, just watching the games on the court. He just does not seem like the guy that's going to get me energized. Is going to get me, or is going to, like, again, like, kind of like what I was saying about Dalen Terry, like, hold my guys accountable. I'm sure he is holding players accountable and not doing certain things, but he doesn't do it in a way where it's like, you're going to do that. Like, you're going to do this kind of thing. Like, I'm not saying that to be, like, you know, completely, like, negative about him. Because, like I said, he, you know, I don't want to just make this just like a whole criticizing thing or whatever, like, just highlighting all the negatives. But, you know, in order to improve and get better, you can't focus on the good things. You need to talk about the bad things, and these are some things that lacking of, like, the voice can be a bad thing, because you need to have a coach who you really, really respect, who you really like, okay, this guy, when he talks, the whole room is shut. The whole room, like, everybody sits and we're looking, like, at you, you're talking, and we really feel what you're saying. Like, for example, let's take Darvin Ham from the Lakers, for example, the new head coach. I can just tell before he even, like, coached the team yet for a game, I can tell that he's going to demand a great amount of respect from his team just based off his demeanor, how he was talking, and just, you know, some of the things also. I know this doesn't completely have something to do with your coaching abilities, but, you know, if you heard his story of him getting shot in the face and him just basically have no fear in life of anything, you know, going through all the ups and downs, you feel that in a player. You feel that you get that kind of connection with him, and it's like, okay, I'm going to hear what he's going to say. I'm going to respect it, because he just has that demeanor that I don't even really know how to really explain it, but it's just one of those things you can just feel from a player or a coach, that energy, that rah, like that. Listen, man, this is my team. You're going to do what I say kind of thing, and this is going to lead us to success. I don't really see that in a lot of Billy, you know. Granted, he is a great development coach. That was the big thing about him when we hired him. But if you were to ask me a couple years from now, if when we have a championship roster right here, like, okay, if the Bulls were to contend in about 5 years from now, do you see Billy being the head coach of the team? I don't. I personally don't. I think he's a good, like a good transitional coach from his, from Jim Boylan to Billy Donovan. That's a massive, like, that's not even comparable. It's a huge improvement. But I still just think he's a transitional coach more so than our coach for the future, if that makes sense. But also, again, the big thing for me also, besides like that lacking of the voice, was he did have some of the play calling was very questionable, and along with some of the rotations, granted, again, I know, like I said, injuries did hinder this team a lot. Like, there was a lot of inconsistencies with the roster. Again, Lonzo's out, Caruso's out. We lost Pat Will. We lost DeMar to COVID. Zach was playing on an injured hand, injured knee. They were signing players from the G League, from Euro League. They was hitting up fans. They hit me up for a 2-way contract. You know what I mean? Like, so there was a lot of inconsistency with the roster, and I get that's going to make him. He's going to take a lot of the blame for a lot of the, not success, the lack of success that we've had, wrongfully so. I mean, I'm not saying that all of that is his fault, but we have to stick with the facts, and the facts are we did have DeMar, Zach, and Vooch for a good portion of the season, even after like that second half downfall that we'd had. We still had 2 or 3 of our stars playing. Now, if that was any other team with 2 or 3 of their stars playing, I feel like they would have had more success than we did. And why is that? And I'll tell you why. Personally, I feel the reason why is because I think the person that affected the season the most was Lonzo. I think his you can take all the other injuries, the DeMar with COVID or the injuries to the power forward position. I feel if we had Lonzo for a lot of the games that we missed him at, I think our seeding would have been different. We would have won more games. Like, I think we just would have had more success with him on the court, because I just think he does so much for the team. And it's like having another coach on the floor. It's like why CP3 is so valued. It's like kind of like, again, Rondo. Why he's still up and kicking, and why teams are still looking to acquire him, especially on the playoff time, is because having that point guard that's essentially your second coach on the floor is like, man, that's like a gem. So, and again, this is not to discredit Billy Donovan. This is not to just hate on him. It's just like, with those two things, like, again, with the lacking of the voice and him having at least 2 of the stars on the floor for majority of the season and having that huge downfall, like, it is kind of alarming to me. And, all in all, I just think he's kind of just subpar. I think he's a good coach. I just don't think he's a great one. I don't think he's going to be one to really, like, whoa, like, going to take us, like, elevate us, like, from here to here kind of thing. I think he's, somebody that's going to get us by, and he's going to get us to a contending spot in the playoffs. But I don't think he's going to take us really to the championship, But hey, this is just my opinion. I could be completely wrong or whatever. I hope the best. Again, I hope the best. I'm a fan, obviously, so I'm going to root for him always. I'm always going to look for the best. But just to criticize and, just to put a little feedback into it, I'm just not, at this very moment, I'm just not that huge on Billy Donovan. Next player that I want to talk about, man, is my personal, I wouldn't say he's my favorite. I'd say he's my second favorite. Because right now I'm rocking the LaVine jersey, but definitely my second favorite player on this team, hands down, is not even close. Lonzo Ball, man. I feel that this guy, man, he is the key. Like, he is the key to the Bulls' success. We don't have him. like I said, man, chop it. There's no nothing. There's no Chicago. We need Lonzo to be successful as a whole. A full season of Lonzo, and I think we can hover around the top 4-ish seeds. I'm saying it just like that because he's still young, so he still can get better, and he does everything that you want in a good player. Like if we really think about like a good player, like a star player, what do you want him to do? What would you want your star player to do? You want him to defend well, pass well, or score well, or do one of those things really well, or if not, all three of those things really well. And Lonzo does a lot of those things. He passes really well, has great passing IQ, can defend really well. Like I said, when him and Caruso were on the floor, we had like a top 5 defense for a while. And so like he can pass, he can defend, and he can shoot. Like he is an improving 3-point shooter. He's got that yappa on him. So, he can let that thing fly. So, he does everything, again, that if in a star, I'm not saying that Lonzo is that, like, he's, whoa, star player, here we go. But he is, like, if you really think about it, he does everything that you want a good player or you would want your star player to do. Granted, like I said, he also, I think like the Pelicans kind of altered his playing style. We saw him, he was kind of like playing more 3-and-D. They had Zion taking up the ball, so he was kind of like in the wings, corner shooting. Like he wasn't really doing all that score, because Lonzo can score. Like he can push up the ball, he can lay up, he can dunk, he can shoot middies. He has like a more complete offensive game than what we're seeing right now. And I think that him playing with the Pelicans kind of, I wouldn't say stunted, but it kind of altered his playing style, like to kind of shoot more threes. Obviously, he's now an improved shooter, but I think if he were to show more of that offensive bag that he has, I think he really, I'm just saying, wild card, like he could be an all-star in years to come. I don't know if he'll be an all-star next year, but he has the potential to be an all-star for this team for sure. Like he literally can do. He does everything that we need. He is such an important player. It's a shame that he's dealing with this knee injury, and it's a shame because it's like, Bulls and point guard issues. Name a better combination. Like we always seem to have a point guard issue. So I'm praying, I'm hoping that his knee is starting to look better. I'm seeing reports that it's getting better. I'm not seeing any like huge news like, Lonzo's back, he'll be back, confirmed for the season, whatever, will be fine. I'm not seeing any like big news like that, but I am seeing some big improvements. He's on the court, he's shooting, he's jumping on that knee, so that is some great signs. But we really need Lonzo for this upcoming season because he just does so much. Him just on the court speeds up the tempo, the pace, because when he gets the ball, he's always looking for the first person. Whoever's running, he's gonna get you the ball. If you're a runner, and we got runners. We got this team. That's what this team is kind of built off of, was pace and speed, and that's why we started to struggle a lot when we lost him, because when we lost Lonzo, we lost that speed and that pace. We didn't have that no more. Because who was really passing the ball? Who was really like pushing the floor, pushing the tempo like that? Ayo Dosunmu was doing pretty well in his place. We tried Kobe out a little bit. Caruso was out for a little bit as well. He was dealing with injuries, so all those important injuries to the point guard position just completely like tanked our season. But again, Lonzo in particular like changes the dynamic of the look of this team. Just one play, and it's crazy because we don't really, like, when you look at Lonzo, when you look at our roster and our team and you think of the stars, you don't really put Lonzo in that conversation. But in my eyes, he is the real star of the team because he does all those things very well. Again, passing, rebounding, shooting, defending. Like, he does all those things well that the stars on our team don't. Like, okay, for example, like Zach is a great scorer, great three-way scorer. He can score on all levels. But the big knock on him is he's just not that great of a defender, even though he has the ability to do it. He's very athletic. He's got the length. He's got the size. He's got everything to be a great two-way player. It's just more so a mentality thing as well, you know. And same with DeMar. Like DeMar, you know, DeMar's he's a little up there in age as well. So I'm not really expecting him to be this huge like lockdown defender, but. Again, we're not looking at him at all to do that. We're looking at for DeMar and Zach to score. Maybe Zach to defend a little bit more, but those are what these guys are. We're looking at them to do. That is what truly makes them that star. But with Lonzo is, like I said, he does everything so well. In my eyes, he is the real star of the team. He's the key, the glue. When we lose him, again, you see it. When we lost him, everything went down. Everything just wasn't flowing right. We just didn't have that same identity. You know what I mean? And that's the one thing with every team needs an identity. Every team needs a culture and an identity. What is our culture? What is our identity? And that was our identity. Our identity was we turn defense into offense. We get a steal, bam, we're up the court. Zach is ready for a dunk, or whoever is pushing up the side, you know. That's where we were creating our identity, and that's when we lost Lonzo, we kind of lost that, and it kind of took us from that high scorching season, like that strong start to the season that we had, to like, okay, now towards the end where it looked like we were scraping, we were trying to make the playoffs at that point. It went from us like, okay, a sure thing, making the playoffs, top 4 seed at least at the first half of this season, I'm like, we got to at least be a top 4 seed, at least. Towards the end there, we're barely scraping our way in. We were, you know what I mean? Can we even make the 6th seed that we did? Like, you know, and I think a lot of that came because of the loss of Lonzo. Losing him, you know, was a big downfall, big L on our season, but it was an L and a W in the same sense, because him going down, we were able to see the emergence of Ayo Dosunmu and see what he really had, because he got pushed into that starting guard position and he flourished, man. So I'm looking for our young guns, man. I'm looking forward to it, man. We have a lot of young potential on this team, and I can't wait to see it. Now, I just want to talk a little bit about you know, our 18th pick, Dalen Terry, because, you know, I saw a lot of the same reaction when we drafted him, same like when we drafted Patrick Williams, and a lot of things that I was saying with a lot of Bulls fans was like, yo, just give it time. This is literally the exact thing that happened when we drafted Patrick Williams. Who is this? Who is this guy? Why did we do this? This guy was available. We should have did this, and that. And then now you put Patrick Williams in any trade package and anything like that. They are, are you kidding me? They're hitting you with death threats. They're in your DMs, filling you up. So, you know, I think if all things, you just need time. You need research. You need to really like, okay, why did we pick him? What was he good at? What was he, you know, what was the thing that they saw in him? And I saw that in a lot of articles and stuff that I researched, that he was rising up the draft. He was rising, you know. They were saying like if they did another draft later on, or like, you know, a couple years from now, that he could have been like a top 10 pick, top 5 pick, maybe. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying, you know, I'm not saying that. That's just what I saw. So the potential was definitely there for him to be selected at 18th. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, you know, EJ Liddell, we were looking at, or Tari Eason, you know, like, look at EJ Liddell, and this is no knock to EJ, but he dropped like in the 2nd round, you know, and we, like, a lot of Bulls fans were they were all trade rumors, all draft rumors were saying we're going to pick him up. He's going to be there. We're going to pick him up. EJ Liddell, he's going to be the guy for us. But there's a reason why he dropped that low. I'm just saying, I don't know why, but there's a reason why he dropped that low. So, again, we got to remember that these are NBA executives. They are at the front. They are making these decisions for a reason. So they know some things that we just don't. But from what I've seen, I love this kid, man. So 6'7" height, about 195. He's got like a 7-foot wingspan, man. But the big thing for me is his energy. He plays with so much energy and so much grit and competitiveness, and that's what we desperately need for this team. Like he's like kind of like a, I wouldn't say, I'm not saying they play similarly, but just like the mentality is like a Marcus Smart or like a Draymond Green, kind of like those kind of players that they're holding all their players accountable. Like Marcus Smart is, when Jason Tatum is not playing well, Marcus Smart is going to come at him. If Curry's not doing what he's supposed to do, Draymond Green is going to be at him. So all these like successful teams, they have that one player that's like, okay, you need to be held accountable for what you are doing or what you're not doing. And Dalen Terry seems like that guy who has that voice, that competitiveness, that grit. Like I'm seeing reports that he's like, you know what I mean? Him and Patrick Williams kind of got at it. You know what I mean? He was a trash talking to players already. In his first practice, he get there and already like, yo, yeah, ain't it? You know what I mean? He already giving it to him, and I love it. I love it. We need somebody with that grit, that raw, that dog in them to really like kick in another gear to the team that they didn't have before, right? He shot about 50% from the field. He shot about 68% around the rim, which is great. Was what we need. He's a great transitional player. He's gonna get out on fast breaks. He's a great defense into offense guy, which again he fits in for the Bulls because that's what we were known for. Defense into offense. Again, statistically, we're first in that category. He earned all Pac-12 defensive honors. He averaged about 8 points a game, and I saw a lot of Bulls fans were questioning that. Oh, he shot 8 points. Like, you got to understand, like, especially in college, when a lot of players are trying to get scouted and everybody has their own roles. Like, just because he did not do something a lot does not mean that he cannot do it. So what I mean by that is just because he averaged 8 points a game does not mean he does not have an offensive skill set. That just means that was just his role on the team. His role was he's a great defender. Okay, you go in this game. We need you to impact the game defensively. He's a great passer as well. So defensively, transitionally, and hit a couple shots here and there if you're open. Like, offensively, that is just not what Arizona was looking for him to do, and we can't look at him to be like, oh, he averaged 8 points a game. He's not a great offensive guy. He's not gonna just chill out. Every player on the team has a role, and he played his role to perfection. Just from what I'm hearing, especially I saw he had a very low usage rate, averaging 8 points. That's not bad. Like, these are all great things. So that's probably what the front office saw. Like, he has the offensive package. He has the length and the skills to score. It was seen. He has great vision, great front court vision, and he can defend very, very well. But the big thing that sold me was his energy. Like, you guys have to see it. Like, the energy and the grit, the competitiveness that he plays with I think that's going to put him into the rotation very quickly, very quickly. I can see him being in that, fighting for a spot in the first couple games. Like, seriously, like, he's that. I saw reports that they're already trying to kick him out. Like, he stayed like hours after the gym. They had to come and be like, yo, bro, get out of here. All right, like, listen, it's late. I'm tired. I want to go into my family. You got to get out of here now. He's one of those type of players, and you need one of those players on your team. He's going to elevate the team to another level that, like, he's going to, like, awaken, like, kind of like a beast in the team. Like, because it's like, okay, yo, like, he's that competitive. I need to be this competitive now. Like I need to elevate my game to where he's at, because he's going to hold everybody to that same standard, that same level that he's at. And that's very important. I feel like he's going to be a very, very perfect fit for the Bulls. And lastly, I just want to talk about our last stars, our 3 stars on the team. DeMar, Zach, and Vooch. I'm not going to talk too much about their roles per se, because it's we know what they're here for. We know what they're supposed to do. Like, but I want to just talk a little bit more on Zach, because I feel that now that we signed him to this 5-year, what was it, $212 million contract. We need him to play like $212 million worth of play. Like, we need him to play like that because granted he was injured last year, and I'm not gonna hold that against him. But I need him now to establish and play like, listen, this is my team. You guys are all here because of me. I'm the one who put the Bulls back on the map after that trade. I'm the one who, all-star, this and that, score high-scoring games, all this. I was here before everybody. I was duking it out with this coach and that guy and this. Like, I need him to now play like, listen, this is my team. I need him to play like an MVP. I need Zach LaVine to have an MVP year. Okay? DeMar had his great year last year. Now I need him to take a step back, let him be the 2 guy. I need Zach to be the one main guy, because he has, like, that's who we're not paying a guy a max contract, in my opinion, to be the second guy. Now, granted, I know that's kind of like what every fan outside of the Chicago Bulls, like, is always saying, oh, he's a great number 2 guy. He's not the guy that's really gonna, you know what I mean? Number two. He's a Rob, and he's not really your Batman. Like, I don't want to hear none of that. Honestly, like, he has everything he needs to be the number 1 guy, to be the star on the team. There's no reason why he shouldn't be. He can score on all 3 levels. If he really puts his mind to it and really, like, mentally, like, bunkers down, he can be a great 2-way defender. Like, he should be the guy. He should be our number 1. We need to stop with this whole number 2. He's a good number. No, stop it. He needs to be the guy for us. We need Zach LaVine to be the number 1. Okay? He's going to be our future. Like, again, it's quite evident with this contract we just gave him. We are looking at him to be this guy he needs to be, and if he doesn't, we need to hold him accountable for it. That's just what it is. It's not being like a hater. I'm not looking, I'm not trying to be negative or anything, but when things aren't being done that we know a player can do, there's nothing wrong with criticizing or just being like, hey, like, holding it accountable. Like, listen, like, we know you're capable of doing it. We need you to do it. I need big games from Zach. I need some 40 bombs, 50. I need a 50 bomb type. I mean, I need an established year. Just like, yo, Zach LaVine, okay, is that guy. He is that guy on the Chicago Bulls to really elevate and put them on the next level. Making sure we surround him, obviously, with pieces that he need. But the key focus on this team needs to be Zach, not DeMar. Like, I feel like what DeMar and the last year, the success that he had, it kind of like put Zach in this shadow spot, like this under, like, you know what I mean? Like, now this is kind of like DeMar's team. Like, no, stop it. This is Zach LaVine's team. This is Zach LaVine's Chicago Bulls. He needs to act like it. He needs to play like it, and we need to support him and hold him accountable when he's not doing those things. DeMar should be the 2. In my opinion, he should be the 2 of this team. And, as long as he stays healthy, I feel that this will also be a big year for him as well. Another All-Star, obviously, but let's push it to All-NBA, right? Let's see him making All-NBA, maybe be in the talks or some MVP talks. I know at the beginning maybe like the midway of last year, if you guys remember, it was like DeMar was like maybe like 5th, and like Zach was like 8th in like MVP standings. I need it to be flipped now. I need DeMar to be like 5th or top 5, maybe hopefully top 4, you know what I mean, depending on the year, and DeMar be like 8th or like, you know what I mean, top 10 at least. That's what I want to see for this upcoming year, and I think that we will have immense success. DeMar, obviously I'm not going to spend too much time on him. We know what DeMar is, that mid-range killer, you know what I mean? We just need him to just keep shooting that thing, letting that thing ring and ding, ding, ding. Letting it speak, chatter, interact, conversate. We need him to just keep doing that, being that great scorer that we know he is, and we'll be fine. Same with Vooch. I know Vooch is getting it, man. He's getting hate. He's getting trade talks, all that, man. And again, the same with Vooch. We just need consistency when it comes to that. I think Vooch, we will have success with Vooch as our center. Like, we will have success. Don't worry. He's a great rebounder. Obviously, he's not a great defender. He's not that rim protector. That's what we got Andre Drummond for. But again, Andre Drummond really isn't really like a rim protector. So we kind of still need to figure that spot out. But Vooch, like, he did well. He did pretty well towards the second half of the season. You know, I know he struggled a lot, especially from his shooting. That thing was not falling from him. I don't know what it was. That thing was not. It wasn't talking. It wasn't. He was not letting it fly. But, you know, around the rim, closer, you know, around 6 to 10, you know, around close to the rim, he had a lot more success. So I think that started becoming his bread and butter. I think he just needs to find his role, because you got to remember, he's also coming from a huge role change from being the number 1 guy in the Magic to not being the number 3 guy in the Bulls. Like all these things, like, just takes time. Like, and it gets blinded because we had, like, immense success at the beginning of the year, that we forget that all these things are still a factor. Like, he still needs time to develop himself on the roster, to find his role, find his spot, his pace, his, you know what I mean? Like, all these things come with time. That was just our first year. All of this is just all from our first year of this roster, just first year. And I'm not even going to talk about, like, you know, the Javonte Greens or like Caruso, because we know what we're going to get with those players. And I don't really have too many things to, like, criticize or talk about them about, because, you know, we know what we're gonna get from them. They're gritty, they're strong, tough. We know what we're gonna get from them. With Caruso, it's kind of like it's even funny with Caruso, because, like, a lot of fans look at him like as that meme, like the bald mamba, whatever. Like, but he's also, like, very young, and he's also another player that can improve, that will get better. Like, and it's just crazy to think about, like. So all in all, to chop up this video, you know, we had a very successful year. Our very, very first year with the team was very exciting, very electric. And I'm looking for that to be the foundation. And now we build on from that from years to come. Bulls basketball is back, baby. We back. Hey, man, I'm excited. I hope you guys are. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. You know, and just vibe out in the comments. You know, like, this is just all opinions. I want to hear your opinions on what you guys think about the team, the future, what we should do, who we should target maybe in free agency, because it's still, you know, I'm recording this on the 6th, so there's still a chance that maybe there's another trade or something or whatever. Just give me your feedback, your opinions in the comments. I plan to do these kind of breakdowns for each team, and just, like, you know, just talk about the NBA in general and whatnot, just to, you know what I mean, just to give my vibe to it, you know what I mean? Yeah, y'all know how it is, you know. Come vibe with your boy. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.